Hello, I'm Frank Capra Jr., inviting you to join me for the exciting series Hollywood Goes to War.
Hollywood Home Entertainment is proud to announce the release of the 26-hour series Hollywood Goes to War, based on and including the critically acclaimed wartime documentaries of Frank Capra, John Ford, William Wyler, John Huston, and featuring many of Hollywood's greatest talents. Hollywood Goes to War opens with John Ford's Oscar-winning films December 7th and The Battle of Midway.
My most exciting moment was the Island of Midway. I had my camera with me, and I tried to take as many pictures as I could. Like a shrapnel wounds in my elbow and shoulder, knocked unconscious. Well, I did manage to get some great shots. Eventually, I made this into a picture called The Battle of Midway, which won an Oscar for me.
These exciting historical films stand as an example of how Ford used images to rouse, anger, and overwhelm an audience. Episodes 3 through 18 represent Frank Capra's response to the challenge put to him by General George C. Marshall.
General Marshall, I said, it's only fair to tell you that I have never before made a single documentary film. In fact, I've never even been near anybody that's made one. Capra, he said with a slight edge to his voice, I've never have been chief of staff before. Thousands of young Americans have never had their legs shot off before. Boys are commanding ships today who a year ago had never seen the ocean before. I'm sorry, sir. I'll make you the best damn documentary films ever made.
From the Oscar-winning Prelude to War to the growth of Nazism and Nazi strike can divide and conquer, to the documentation of our allies' valiant struggle beginning with the Oscar-nominated Battle of Russia Part 1 and 2. Know your ally Britain?
Until they have been taught a lesson which they and the world will never forget.
The Battle of China and the Battle of Britain. To a close-up view of our enemies in Know Your Enemy Japan and Here is Germany. Tunisian Victory Part 1 and Part 2. To the liberation of Europe and on to Japan in 2 Down and 1 to Go. War Comes Home in War Comes to America. And The Price of Freedom. And Capra's tribute to African Americans in The Negro Soldier. Capra's films are a priceless cinematic record of an era. William Wyler produced 2 compelling wartime films, Memphis Belle, the story of the B-17 bomb runs over Germany, and Thunderbolt, with the high-flying action of the P-47s attacking German supply lines in northern Italy.
We had to learn how to take a machine gun, take it apart, put it together, because we all had to be able to take over a machine gun in case one of the gunners would get hurt. To operate in there with our 16mm cameras at 28,000 feet, where it was 60 below zero, try and keep warm, where the cameras would freeze.
Wyler delivers an up-close view of the perils and raw emotions of aerial combat. John Huston's time in uniform was spent near the front lines. Almost killed during a mission in a B-24 Liberator, Huston's report from the Aleutians is a straightforward account of the soldiers and airmen responsible for the first attack on the Japanese Empire. The Battle of San Pietro is an engrossing account of the savage fighting between American and German forces for control of the Lira Valley in Italy.
Then General Marshall saw the picture. He heard about it, and he asked to see it, and completely reversed the Pentagon view. Said it was absolutely essential that every man who was going into combat see this picture.
Huston's Let There Be Light is an emotional account of the miraculous recovery of GIs from the horrors of combat. Huston's trilogy would become the most realistic vision of the war, forming a cohesive personal statement on the experiences of combat. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood, answered the call of duty, wrote, produced, and directed Combat America. Gable delivers some of the most exciting and deadly aerial combat ever filmed. Hollywood Goes to War tells the wartime story of the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. Episode 24, Target Tokyo, highlights Ronald Reagan's many talents. During his time in uniform, Captain Reagan was involved in producing, narrating, and acting in over 400 Army Air Corps films. Ronald Reagan was a citizen soldier of the highest merit. Hollywood Went to War with Gusto. Hundreds of Hollywood actors and technicians helped raise morale and millions of dollars for the war effort through rallies, short films, and personal appearances. Their stories are told in the film Soldiers in Grease Paint and in special performances featuring Humphrey Bogart, Gary Cooper, Bette Davis, James Cagney, and many others.
There is a job for each and every one of us, and it is our duty to find that job. Because every job we do is a pledge that our homes will not be destroyed. And every bond we buy is a promise that our children will not grow up in bondage.
Hollywood Goes to War is hosted by Frank Capra Jr.
Hello, I'm Frank Capra Jr. for Hollywood Goes to War, a unique, exciting, and revealing series. 26 programs showing the work of Oscar award-winning Hollywood stars, directors, writers, editors, and cameramen who served with distinction in combat areas during World War II. My family and I, and the families of William Wyler, John Ford, and John Huston, are proud to help bring these remarkable images to you. We invite you to join us for Hollywood Goes to War.